about your songs. The biggest one, obviously, this year so far has been Resurrection Day. Obviously, it was massive around Easter. Can you just kind of talk us through that song and that process?
Absolutely. Well, you know, we always focus a lot on the cross in our worship, and that's a really good thing. But actually, the cross by itself, without a resurrection, it isn't really that victorious. The fact that we have resurrection power living inside of us is really, it's the reason why we actually have something to celebrate. In Rend Collective, we're totally into things to celebrate. And the resurrection is kind of the center point of the best bit of the good news. And so that's why we had to write that song, just proclaiming the fact that because Jesus is risen, we can get up off the floor. There's nothing that can really hold us down whenever he's rolled away the stone.
That is amazing. Steve Best, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we're going to listen to Resurrection Day on UCB1. You can have it over here. This is Rend Collective.
Spinning those wheels of steel.
We can do a dance. Can they tell
Yeah.
timing?
Let's have a dance off.
Do it slow.
All right. While that's playing, that's going to fade out. Does anyone have any questions for Rend Collective? Anyone?
I loved your blog about how to speak Irish. Hi, about, yeah.
Very good.
I
That's
love that.
excellent job.
Any more tips?
Any more tips on how to speak
I think you
Irish?
pretty much nailed it. As long as nobody can understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
you have nailed it well. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Rend? Oh, down here. What's your favorite song?
You know, I still like my Lighthouse because
I think they do too.
yeah,
It's a shame we're not playing it tonight.
the truth is,
I'm just kidding! Just kidding! Can you imagine?
What is the point of Rend Collective without a Lighthouse, eh? Why would you bother? It's funny. You know, you just write about things that are out your window. You know, when you look out the window and there's about 4 lighthouses near our house in Bangor in Northern Ireland. But can you imagine what other people would be writing about looking out your window? You know, somebody's laundry or something.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, we've got someone here.
What advice would you give to someone if they were to write their own worship songs?
oh gosh, that was what advice would we give to someone who wanted to write their own worship songs? You know, you should email Pat Barrett. He's got some great advice about that. Honestly, I think writing about things that are like authentic moments for you with Jesus, that makes a big difference. We actually, if we've had some kind of spark of inspiration or God said something in our lives, we'll write 15 songs until we get a good one about that, because it's so important for those authentic moments to be made into songs rather than good songs to be made out of nothing.
Anyone else? Oh, just down here in the black hat. What's the coolest place you've ever been to?
Oh.
You got 1 minute.
1 minute, cheapers. Probably Brazil. It was an incredible experience. Wonderful people, and yeah, it was awesome.
No, it was Disney World. We got to play at the castle. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Brazil, who cares? Mickey Mouse? Yeah.
That is amazing. We're gonna have.
Sorry, Brazil. Lovely.
We are going to have a little bit more chance to have a bit more chats, because I've just been getting word that we are going to be playing My Lighthouse very soon as well.
Not again.
So we're going to be hearing the end of Resurrection Day. You'll hear Steve Best, and then I'll come back in.
Saturday afternoon on UCB1. It's just about 2:45, the Big Church Day Out 2019 special, Rend Collective Resurrection Day. We've got another one from Rend coming up in just a few minutes' time. I wonder whether you'll be able to guess what it is. And still to come, we'll be hearing from artists such as A-Star and LZ7. But right now, let's head straight back to Bex in the UCB tent, who's got Rend Collective with her.
Yes, it is the UCB stage with Rend Collective. I have Gareth, Ali, and Chris from Rend Collective. I have to say, the thing with you guys is when you perform on stage, not only do you have the massive panda heads, which can I just ask?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where did the panda head start?
Not willing to talk about it on stage. Prayer.
That's right.
More
Yeah.
prayer and fasting. We tried to find the most indigenous creature to Ireland, and the hedgehog didn't seem that good.
It is an amazing thing, but I think the really cool thing, and if you've ever been to a Rend performance, is that you don't leave the stage going, no, thank you, or thank you. In fact, it quite often ends with a worship moment. Can I just get you to kind of explain your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, well, I think for us, anything that we do that's kind of, we have bubbles sometimes, we have confetti cannons, whatever. We'll do whatever we can to raise a smile because we actually do have good news that's really worth celebrating. But at the same time, we want to point people to Jesus. And it's about striking a balance between having a good time together in the presence of God, because there's nothing wrong with that, but also making sure that we actually leave with that right message. So it's really important for us to strip it all back and just have moments in our sets where you can see that it's Jesus who's on the move more than just some Irish people. So we always try to make sure that there's a little bit of space in our sets where you can tell that it's just him moving.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for us to communicate is that whenever you see somebody on the stage with lights, you think they're more important than somebody else. And we always like to just put all of that aside and worship with everybody at the end. Because at the end of the day, it's the church that changes things. It's not, somebody on a stage that ever changes anything. And for us, a lot of our ministry happens off the stage, not on the stage. On the stage is kind of just a great chance to get together with people and have a good time. But, I don't think those are the things that Jesus is going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. You were great at playing those drums all those times, or, whatever it is. But it's our heart, it's our mission, all of those things. So it's very important for us to really communicate that from stage as well and let people know, hey, we're all in this together, and there's only 5 foot of difference. We're just lifted up a wee bit. That's all.
Well, this is the thing. You are definitely a worship band, and you started as a worship band. How did you find basically transitioning from being in the church to actually playing at Disneyland?
Just bought the Mickey Mouse ears. So the only difference.
It was a slow transition, that sort of stuff didn't happen overnight. And what we sort of found is we were playing in churches in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and then in the UK, and then we were gradually asked to go to Europe, and then coming over then to America. We had actually been praying about whether we should go to America, not 'cause it's very scary over there. And within about 2 weeks of praying whether we should go, we got an offer from Chris Tomlin to come on tour for 40 shows. And so, it's very important for us that we just move where God is leading. We always make a point that we're never like pushing down doors, trying to break into somewhere, but where God leads us, we just want to follow. And so sometimes that leads to the Disney castle, and sometimes that leads to your living room, wherever you find worship. And it's been an incredible journey, and we're just so grateful and honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, one of the things actually, I would love you all to know that nobody else knows, but God's been really working on our hearts. We've had kids, as you know, but we decided this time last year that we wanted to start a kids ministry because so many kids love my Lighthouse. So we've actually just finished recording an album. We don't say it's a kids album. We say it's an album for adults with kids. Because we were fed up listening to music we didn't like for our kids, and we wanted to give them music we did like. So it's probably the hardest project we've ever done. We've worked harder on it than anything else. And it's actually, any of our friends who don't have kids, I think, like it more than our other music. But so that's really exciting. Also, something that's really exciting that God's been putting in our heart, we wanted to do a My Lighthouse kids book, which we're just finishing up right now. One of our friends from here in England has been designing it and drawing it and all, so it's all very exciting.
That is amazing. Okay.
Very exciting.
Woo! Yeah, first of all, that is amazing. If if people are wanting to know more about what's coming out in terms of music, but also my Lighthouse book and all that, where can they find out more information?
Our Instagram account, we're just Rend Collective on there. It's nothing fancy. That's probably the best place to look. Obviously, we have a website and everything else. It's rendcollective.com.
Just keep your eyes peeled this autumn, I'd say September time.
Excellent. Now, we are about to play My Lighthouse, which got a massive cheer. Everyone loves My Lighthouse. And you were saying before, it's literally wrote because it was something that you looked out the window.
Yeah, you know, for us, like, growing up where we grew up, we go for walks on the beach. I remember going through a difficult time and going for walks every night, you know, along the beach and praying for like our ministry and praying for a wife actually as well. And it was in a season of lack. There was nothing that was going on. Anything that I had tried had failed. Anything that we had tried had failed. And it was just a time of prayer, and on that walk there were 3 or 4 different lighthouses, and it wasn't until years later, whenever we were actually writing the song, that all of that came back. You know, in my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you don't walk out, or that whole sort of message, and that's kind of been our anthem the whole way through, that God doesn't reject us or push us away when we're in those dark, questioning, doubtful, lost times. But that's the time whenever, you know, his light is shining bright, that you can see where shore is. And it may be storms, it may be difficulties, but that he is leading us home.
It is an amazing song. I know everyone here loves it so well. We're going to head and listen to My Lighthouse on UCB.
In my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you
Awesome, that is fantastic. If you want to stay around and dance and muck around, that is fantastic. Just so the people here, where are you performing over the next 2 days?
We're on the main stage tonight. We're closing the night out. So we're playing in the dark. It's very exciting. We're very excited. We look much better in the dark. So it's gonna be a fun time. Any campfires?
Ooh, any campfires?
We have a very early flight in the morning, so it's not looking hopeful.
Also, the hair on my legs hasn't grown back since our first campfire album 5 years ago. I'm not even joking you. That is not a joke. It was all since that now it's as bald as a pea down there. So I just want to keep whatever hair I've got left.
Awesome. We're going to have to leave it there.